Hello, welcome to this video. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you so much for tuning in, sharing in this energy. I wanted to just pop in and give a little bit of a flow message, I guess, from the guides. My higher self. I haven't done a video. I haven't been posting videos. I've done a few videos. And I'll talk a little bit maybe at some point about some of the synchronicities and personal experiences I've been going through lately to see if any of you can relate. But it's Easter, so I just thought it'd be appropriate to have a little sunrise here in the background. I'm going to just go into some flow. So this is meant to be felt, not necessarily understood on a linear basis, but a lot of this I think will be potentially linear as well. I'm just dropping in. I haven't done this in a few days. Drink my tea. So I'm seeing a cross and I'm hearing a trifecta. And I'm hearing grand crux. And so I'm just dropping in with a few words that are popping into me, into my field right now, that'll be relevant maybe for the message coming through. I'm hearing trine, union. And we start with these words because they allow us to dip into multiple things. Potentially the astrology, the number 3, but unity as well, and more than that, an alignment, we could say. I'm speaking a little bit quietly because I'm the only one awake in the house. Mekuaha shinike, a little light language. Mukuaha ish iniki kai mahana at ish ik inihe. Newa kuaha ninehish e kuaha nini. Ba shuku nahe. Not only is there a unification and an alignment and activation going on within the stellar alignment today and other important days that have passed and that will come to pass, but this is also happening in the schematic of the brain. We invite you to feel into your bodies, we being the energy that is part of you, me, and weaving with all of us that we are all connected to. For we are all connected to collectives, versions, variations of me and you. We are all connected to versions of ourselves from ancient times long gone by, as well as the ancient future, one might say. For if you look at time as a non-sequential, from one perspective, series of energies that are looping together to weave a blanket of reality, although that seems quite smothering, one might say, we'll call it a fabric. Bakuash and akikai nehe. We are all part of that which we weave. We are all part of that which has been woven. And as we move into this new exchange with this energy of I'm hearing the plexus that holds it all together, the glue that is essentially me and you. We are invited to feel into this patterning, this pattern that we are co-creating and weaving together in this fabric or quilt of our reality complex, of our reality in space and time. Miwash ukoyehene. For as we are now, I'm gonna have to stop and record and pause a lot. Let me just kind of get back into it. Still early, I'm still waking up. For as we tune into our own inner vibration, we weave within a pattern that creates a new harmonic. We become aware of what we are weaving, and we weave out of the way of the path that has been woven that we may not wish to play in anymore, that we no longer resonate with. Many of us are being called to go on different journeys into a different trajectory, within a different feeling. For all of us are feeling different at this time. Some are still playing out old patterns, and some are intrinsically interwoven in a deep discordance, if you will, or discordant harmonic that keeps playing and keeping over and over again in a looping pattern. Some of those are beginning to fall away, and even those that have been encased in unsurmountable heaviness may begin to feel a loosening of the binds. And it is that one spark of light that can be seen, felt, or heard that can ignite the deep inner resonance and harmony of the heart that allows us to break through the old pattern, to break through the disorganization that we were perhaps or potentially stuck in. And while some are still following the illusion, the disillusion, are still, I'm seeing people walking on a trail, like trekking on that because that feels the best. Meaning it's not the easiest. It can be very difficult, but I'm hearing like resoluteness. Like some people are like, no, I'm going to stick this out. I will not be taken off my path. And they're focusing on a lot of the old stuff. And then there's a new group that are like, I will not be taken off my path. And they're focusing on a lot of the new things. And either way, this sets a tone. There are those that are in the middle, that are weaving the two, allowing those who have those moments of activation, those moments of clarity that are still swimming in the muck. We are assisting those in jumping the gap, if you will, in bridging from one reality into another. And this will take time for some. Yet time is, I'm hearing, conducive to certain sets of frequency. So no matter what we are co-creating together, we are creating a frequency. We are creating a future. And so I'm seeing sunglasses. What's that song? Future's so bright I gotta wear shades. And also I wear my sunglasses at night. Ironically, I think that was written by Corey Hart. And I'm thinking of the heart. I see all this synchronicity. And I'm seeing like people that are in the nighttime still wearing their sunglasses. They're not able to see it. And then you have the future's so bright I gotta wear shades. It's almost like I'm seeing people taking their sunglasses off and looking around and going, how come I didn't see this before? And then there's going to be those that are saying, how come you didn't see this before? But we're really being called to be in our hearts about all of this and be very compassionate. So I'm seeing a kite. This probably has to do with astrology. My dear friend and sister, Kandice, has been playing with the last octave by Robert Calmer, and she's been sharing some things with me about the astrologies, and also my friend Jess has been, I gotta say, people are really, I've got some very close friends. My friend Kat's off at a Joe Dispenza workshop. I mean, people are really going into this incredibly expansive space right now and exploring with things that are highly activating. And one of the biggest messages is coming through, and I'll get back to flow in just a minute, but I'm just thinking about all these different bridges as I'm saying that. I think I'm drawing a kind of a kite, which is a trine, which has something to do with the astrology, even though I don't know anything about astrology really. I know a little bit. But a lot of people are starting to say, I'm going to try this. I'm going to bridge this and that. I'm going to see how these two connect, and they're connecting the dots. And that's what I'm hearing is the trifecta. That creates this lineup of energies and this combining of patterns that maybe we weren't noticing before and we weren't seeing before. And there's going to be some pushback sometimes, whatever that looks like for us. And we're really being called just to go where our heart is leading us and kind of getting out of our own way with our heads. Sometimes we might think this is crazy. I can't believe I'm going to try this, or I can't believe I'm going to go on this adventure. And one of the things that I always notice in session when I'm working with someone that the guides tend to be adamant about, and this includes with myself, is give it a go. Try it. It's about the experience, because it's through that experience that the answers unfold. So, we might fall on our face. People might make fun of us. When I started this channel, and granted, I have to kind of build it back up again because I kind of teetered off for a little while, and of course you get I don't know what the right word is right now, I'm still waking up, but pushed back on social media sometimes when you use certain words. I know there's another word for that, but my point is I'm still doing it though, and there are certain things that people thought I was crazy. I probably lost a few friends, but I gained some friends too, and ultimately it all kind of shakes out at the end. So the guides are like, we're weaving this together and we're creating our future. I can predict certain things about the future. I have dreams that come true. I work with clients and sometimes can share with them what I see in a potential for them. But ultimately, it's up to us and them, all of us, to make our choices that then give us those open doors in the future. If we don't ever walk forward and lead with our heart and get out of, well, I don't know, well, this or that, and I'm guilty of it too sometimes, we're not going to experience the synchronicities, the connections, connecting the dots. And so that's one of the biggest messages right now is have a little adventure, have fun. There's a lot of craziness going on, and we can either stay stuck in that craziness and listen to I'm just hearing that song, I'm just watching the wheels go round and round, and not even realize that we're stuck in it, or we can observe and recognize that it's a pattern that maybe we need to try a different pattern. It's like, yeah. And so joy is the component that is lacking for many. It is difficult to find joy when we are experiencing hardships. And in the moment of the hardship, the joy may not be able to be found. Oftentimes it is after the passing of the hardship, or in the comfort that we may receive from a family member or friend, that brings us into that space of joy and appreciation. Yet we are human, and one of the gifts of being human is our deep ability to find joy, to find emotional courage, to find compassion for each other and for ourselves. oftentimes we are not giving ourselves the appropriate amount of joy and compassion. And this is why so many of us feel depleted. So many of us feel incapable of handling what life is bringing us. And if we are not in a space of recognition that we are not in a space of joy or compassion or gratitude, we will not necessarily open our hands to receive the gifts that life is handing us. Many are praying and asking for more, and yet they have not even opened the door that is right in front of them. They have not allowed themselves to see the many doors that they have access to. So this is an important message also, because one of the things I recognized, I'm just going to share briefly, had a little bit of a health scare recently, and I might go into more detail on that because everything I go through, I'm very experiential. And I spent a night in the ER, and I prayed. I got into a place of fear, and I'll go into that later. But there was this deep fear that I had, and it was almost an echo of something I experienced, which is another topic that's coming up 10 years ago. And this echo came up, but I also had this deep sense of whatever happens, it's going to be okay. And so it was this battle, and this is kind of what I'm being shown over and over again, is that yin and yang. How funny, yin and yang. I have this feather sticking out in my office right now. And this is what I keep seeing. It's so funny. This is an ibis feather. And it's that black and white. It's all one feather, right? But it's like, it's a blend. You can't have one without the other. And I keep seeing this. This is part of what many of us are experiencing. It's this merge of 3D, 5D, whatever you want to label it as. I see everything as subsets and bubbles within bubbles, all interconnected. It's that pattern, it's that fabric, all woven together. It's not disconnected. We're not separate from that. We just think we are. But I had prayed and I had asked for help. It's okay to ask for help too, guys. I prayed and asked for help from my guides and the angels and source frequency, love, energy, God, whatever you wish to call the spirit that moves through all things. And the nurse that was working on me had a tattoo on her forearm, and it was a warrior goddess shooting an arrow, bow and arrow, which is Artemis, my guide, one of my guides. And I just had to laugh because the help doesn't necessarily come how you want it to come. I wanted a miraculous healing. I was beating myself up because I do energy work. I can help others heal themselves. I can heal myself. But in this moment, I needed something stronger. I needed somebody else to help me because we are human. We're becoming superhuman. We have the ability to be superhuman, and at moments I feel superhuman. I have all my senses turned on and I can see everything most of the time for other people, but I can't always see it for myself. And I'll do a whole video on this. So I had to be thankful for that, even though it wasn't exactly what I was hoping for. It gave me a sense of an answering of that prayer. It just looked a little different. But if we're not open to all of the help, and however it comes, however it shows up for us, we're missing the experience. Things become more transactional. They become less deep. So we're being called yet again to recognize and reorganize and shift from moment to moment and allow ourselves to acquire. Some of the words that have been coming up a lot are acquire and reorganize. And just play with that for a moment. Okay, I understand. So to play on words, we're being called to, when we acquire something, we gain something, right? Which we know that. We obtain something, we procure something. One of the messages that's coming through about this is many of us we've gained something, but we're not allowing ourselves to hold on to it. Also, the combination of this is query. So acquire, we're a query, which is a question, right? So we're being invited to question, ask for it, also, but don't be afraid to gain it. So it's like we can't acquire it if we're not asking for it. Also, recognize we've already asked for this. Some of us aren't allowing ourselves to receive. We're still denying ourselves certain things, such as joy. I don't deserve it. Other people are suffering, so I can't feel joy if they aren't feeling joy. That's that's here. That's associated with guilt or shame or feeling, it's almost martyrdom, right? Where we can't feel good unless somebody else feels good. That's an old paradigm. We can still feel empathetic. Oh, it does say empathetic here. No, emphatic. Synchronicity there. We can still empathize and have feelings about what's happening for someone else or what's happening with the state of the world. But it doesn't need to drag us down into that, because we're creating the vibration of our future. And we're creating the vibration, that's not said exactly, we are vibrating a certain frequency, and through that vibration we are creating our future. It's a sound, and that also goes with the play on words, acquire. We are creating a sound, acquire, we're singing, CHOIR. So that's a play on words. What sound are we creating? What resonance, frequency, whatever we want to label it as, are we toning out that is then holding a pattern inside of our bodies, right? Inside of our scale. What are we weighing as important and unimportant? I'm not important. This is more important. And you guys, I'm speaking from experience. I just went to the ER. Everything I share, for the most part, is from my own personal journey. So you energy healers out there, don't forget, you gotta let go. Gotta let it go. All right, so query came up again. So asking ourselves questions and asking for help is okay. But if we've been asking for help and we're ignoring the signs, that's something else to keep in mind. And I'm hearing slow and steady wins the race. So you guys, as I'm saying this, I'm kind of getting a reading. I'm giving a reading right now for the collective. Maybe for people who are watching this who might need to hear this. And so many of us are basing our truths and our reality off of what we've been told. For those of us who are the bridges, we are at that point in time where we can visibly see the future unfolding, and it's scary. I'm seeing like AI. For some people, it's like, what is happening? I want to go back to how things were. I'm just seeing this as like we're on this precipice of something so big, and things are going to change and shapeshift right before our very eyes. It's going to get really uncomfortable. if we keep hanging on to the old stuff, beliefs about ourselves, beliefs about how reality should look. Because I've talked about this before, but even though I'm seeing this as black and white, it's not. It's both. Yes, black and white, but it's this merge. It's this seeing both at the same time and being able to navigate at the same time, going through an upheaval and finding the spark. And this is how we're sharing the message, slow and steady, so that it can be digested, so to speak. Lots of references to the solar plexus, by the way, you guys. Stomach issues. I had some stomach issues. Stomach, huge right now. Stomach is deeply and intrinsically heart related. So if we're not flowing, we're going to really hold on to stuff and not be able to fully express ourselves. You hold the keys to the future. You hold the keys to each and every access point that is now available and that is coming, so to speak. Yet it is all now available. I'm being called to drop in really quickly and share like a little wordplay here. So I will. There's a storm that is still brewing for some, and this storm is creating a swirl amidst all of the chaos. This storm is part of the collective experience, breathing out all of its toxicity. And this is a play on words. And as this is expelled, as a gaseous exchange, you might say, the universe is also responding in kind, for it is expelling its own resources to help to combat this, or better spoken, bring it into balance. The earth is expelling, the energies are moving, all of us are shifting, and as we do this, it changes the dynamic interplay and interactivity in which we connect into the frequency of the patterns of the universe, the earth, the planets, the elements. This chemical exchange, so we've gone into a different tangent and then I'm going to bring it back to slow and steady, that is happening is at such a grand scale, that I'm seeing that triune earlier, that we cannot even begin to fully understand or incorporate our knowledge from the past, the recent past, to apply it to the knowledge of the future. For we are no longer on the same trajectory that we once were. Meaning, how can you create, I'm seeing a spaceship that's moving in a certain direction, and all of a sudden the planet that it was headed to changed direction or got bigger. So they have to change the landing specs. That is an example of what we are dealing with right now. We are using certain words that are big, like I'm seeing combat, but this is a play on words as well, because when I say combat, I say comb and at. We have to comb at it from a different angle. We have to comb through and clear out all of the rubble. I'm seeing the bat, which is rebirth. It's also a center in the brain, connected to the bones in the body. And so I'm also seeing the body kind of resetting. Like we might start to learn things about the body that we didn't know before, because we're evolving. And it's like, oh, bing, this new part of the body just came alive. What does that do? Where did that come from? Oh, we must have just missed it before. Yes and no. And so we invite everybody to comb through their own, and that's a play on words. So I said Robert Comer earlier, has to do with the last octave. By the way, I have not read that book yet. It's like this thick. If you're interested in astrology and kind of seeing some of the new concepts that people are bringing to the table, I invite you to check out Kandice Co. on Facebook. Let me see if I think that's it. I'll share her link. I don't know if she's created a new page or not, with Robert Comer. She reads from the book a lot, and it's helpful because this book, she said, you should read this book. I am probably not going to read that anytime soon, but I like to thumb through it and find little pieces that are synchronistic, maybe for me to read in that moment. Also the brain. My dear friend and sister Jess, Maitri, just went through Brainspotting, and she's been doing this incredible Brainspotting program that is really helpful. So you can check her out at Yothera. I'll share both of their links. I also have other links I share, by the way, you guys. If you haven't watched my videos before, look on the section I share Robert Edward Grant a lot. His link is always there. And Dan Winters. And by the way, I'm sharing this. This doesn't mean I agree with everything they share. I don't necessarily agree with everything anyone shares. I just like certain elements that they talk about that I feel are helpful for people. It doesn't mean that I agree with their politics or worldviews or anything like that. But I'm going back to query. We're being called to question, does that resonate here? Not everything Dan says I agree with. And not everything anyone says I agree with. That doesn't mean I don't value where he's coming from. And I don't value all of the things that he has knowledge about that I don't understand, that he can explain, that has to do with science and electrical engineer and so on and so forth. So that's important for us to use our own discernment moving forward. And so as we ask these questions, why is the earth changing? Why have our trajectories shifted? Why aren't certain things adding up anymore? The answers will present themselves. One foot in front of the other. Slow and steady wins the race. Although we would venture to say the race has already been won. So at this stage, while many of us feel ready to run, we are being called to walk. We are being called to stop and smell the roses. We are being called to reconvene with nature, with ourselves. For this is the time for rebirth. This is the time for us to recognize our own self-worth. This is the time for us to reorganize and centralize from our stability and our center of what one might call gravity, yet to move away from the gravitational pull of the chaotic spin that many are stuck in. And so we know how to do this. I'm just saying, smell the flowers, walk barefoot on earth, go take a swim in the ocean, buy a crystal, use herbs from your garden to cook. It can be done through a lot of things. It doesn't have to be one specific way. What feels good right now? And just by doing this, we will start to see the beauty. We will start to feel the beauty. We will start to feel the harmony that is available to tap into. We will tap into, I'm seeing maple syrup, our own roots, trunk, our solar plexus, our spine, our branches. We will tend to the flock, one might say. We will tend to our own needs simultaneously while doing what we can. I'm just seeing while doing what resonates. By the way, I keep using that word, heart frequency, right? Resonance, the heart tune. I've been using the heart tuner, by the way. It's a really fun little tool. So I'll provide that link too. for breathing. And this is the message: simplicity. And as we do this, the complexity will, I'm seeing it, we'll be able to taste it like a fine wine. You can taste all the complexity in it. But if you're just guzzling it or you're just drinking it to drink it, you don't appreciate the aroma. That's a play on words too, aroma. You don't appreciate all of the layers. I'll do another video soon and kind of break this up a little bit. And in the meantime, I'm just going to kind of end on that note. I'm being shown, savor everything, savor your food, give gratitude and bless it. Really feel into what it feels like to be human. I'm reminded of a Star Trek movie a long time ago, or episode, where there was a alien on there that looked like human, but they were super aggressive, and I don't think it would be very PC nowadays. But essentially, this alien got into trouble because it was harassing the ladies. And what resonated with me, though, was he said, where I come from, you don't have feeling. You can't feel. You can't touch. You can't have emotions. So I'm able to experience that here. And that one line, I was just like, that's interesting. So this is another thing for those of you who are into the galactic flavor. Not all beings have the same experience. We didn't have the same experience when we're not in this body. That's what being in this body is all about. So enjoy it, savor it, the highs and the lows. That's the message right now. To be continued. In love and light, guys. Namaste.